The BlackFatFemme podcast is a production of iHeartRadio and Dr. John Paul, LLC. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the BlackFatFemme podcast, where all the intersections of identity are celebrated. I am one of your hosts, John, also known as Dr. John Paul. And while the government is still shut down here in America, you know what's open? Salt and Straw. Yes. So let's talk about
Speak on it.
let's talk about Salt and
Wake it up,
Straw,
girl.
baby, because let me tell you something. There's ice cream. So I also want to make sure that I make it very clear that I will always be a Bluebell girl through and through. Yes, I know what. Yes, Bluebell is a very Southern ice cream. We've had this conversation. I think it was in like episode 158 or 159. We talked about Bluebell ice cream. I will say I will still be, but Salt and Straw, if you have never popped out and gone to a Salt and Straw, you are not living your life. I want to make sure I make this also very clear. This is not an ad. We are not sponsored by them. They could sponsor us though, as well. I'm gonna talk about
We hope they
Taco Bell
do.
in a second.
Please do.
Yes, please come on in here. Sponsor us.
Sponsor us. Support me, bitch.
Support me, bitch. But I don't know if you heard. Did you hear that them and Taco Bell have linked up and they now have what they call basically?
Oh, I saw.
They've
saw.
redreamed the Choco Taco.
Chocolate? Is it called the Toclet?
Toclet.
Chocolate?
I think it's Toclet.
Toclet.
If it's not right, somebody from one of them
Talk about it.
call
Talk about it.
the Toclet. But it is a redreamed envision of Salt and Straw and Taco Bell. And they got these cute little flavors. I don't know the flavors off the top of my head. I probably should have done more research coming into this episode, but I know that they have one that's like a strawberry jalapeno situation. And then they have another one that's like a berry or another that you can put in it. But either way, God bless Salt and Straw. God bless. If I will say this, because a lot of people look at the flavors of Salt and Straw and go, "Oh my God, that I could never do." Like they have an olive oil one. I know that they have.
That's just the best. All
it
those
is.
Are delicious.
All of their flavors are bomb, but the one that I've been thinking a lot about, they have a malt one that's like spot on. But there's another the blue cheese and blueberry or whatever it is. That one, it doesn't sound good until you eat it, and it is so bomb.
I will say sometimes they do go too far. Like when they did like chicken and biscuits, and I was like,
I hated that one.
I was like, we could just not everything has to be an ice cream flavor. Like sometimes not for me vibes.
Yeah,
No, I shan't do that one. We can just
nar. Yes, a nar. You eat it, nar. Yeah, it's very much giving nar. You see the flavor and you just I'm gonna go ahead and pass. But I definitely when they get it right, they get it right. I will say that about Salt and Straw. So I just wanted to bring that to everyone's awareness as we're talking about joy, finding your joy, just being happy. Salt and Straw is what's bringing me happy. So if anybody wants to send me a Salt and Straw gift card, if somebody wants to send me a Taco Bell gift card, send us. Me and Joho are about to be traveling in the next couple of weeks together.
Yeah.
We'll need tacos. Yes, we are going to New York together. For those of you who do know, for those of you who follow the show, we are nominated for a full figure award.
Yes,
bitch. So we're going to be in Harlem. Hopefully we win. If we don't win, at least it's a trip that I got to take with my BFF. So I'm really excited about that. But anyway, all of that to be said, how is my award-winning friend? How are you doing today?
Oh my God. Lovelies, hello. It's your bestie Jordan, aka Joho. And stop, she is an award winner.
Insert applause. Yes.
I forgot that I won another award. So yesterday I picked up the plaque for it. And I was like, she got 2 awards this year.
Amen.
Maybe more. Okay, so like I'm working through, and I like you and I have this feeling, like the feeling of deserving it, I guess, in some ways.
And she does.
But also being like it's like so much has happened this year that I just didn't think about it. And so because I said in my speech when my latest award, which was it's called the Equality Award by the North County LGBT Center in San Diego. I grew up in the center as a queer person. I mean, they saved my life. I saw them go from a staff of 1.5 people to a full-time staff of 28 people, to go from a 2-room office and a strip mall to a full 10 office campus,
Yeah.
they have grown so much. And so it was a quality award. And after my speech, like when I was first told I was receiving the award, I didn't think I was worthy. Not because I don't believe
Mm.
it,
Yeah.
but because we're taught as queer people that we're not deserving of good things.
Right,
And
right.
so having to work through that and knowing that, right, if I'm telling people that we're all inherently deserving of good things, I have to believe it for myself too.
Yeah.
But also, like, it's just been such a busy time that it's like, you know, actually, I feel like there hasn't been an actual moment to like stop and like smell the roses, a moment to stop and be like, oh,
Yeah.
I got this award and it's really meaningful to
Mhm.
me. So I'm
Mhm.
trying to like tell myself, Jordan, like bask in this, bask in like revel in the joy of being
Real,
seen by your
real.
community, and
Mhm.
like don't take that for granted. Like I don't need to, you know, I don't wanna think about what's the next award. I wanna sit and enjoy that I got this
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
this place means so much to me. My
Yeah.
mom and my aunt were there. My one of my best friends, his name is also Jordan. He also got an award too for being
I
like
saw
a
that.
strong ally.
Mhm,
Don't do that. I
mhm.
hate you. I hate you,
I
bitch.
saw that.
I
How you
hate you, bitch.
doing?
You and every other bitch in the
Hey, how
game.
you
No.
doing? Yeah, uh-huh.
The way the host, he walks off, and the host is like, "Just so you all know, Jordan is sexy."
Uh-huh.
That's the man right there. And I was like, everyone's like on his dick all the time. When I left the stage, she said nothing. I said, "Oh,
Yeah, well, but you
not
but
not."
you already know what that is. Let's let's let's
Yeah,
let's call a
I
thing
was
a
like
thing.
"Wow, girl, wow."
We
And
already know what that is.
funny because like so he's married to one of my best friends, Chelsea, and like they're
Mhm.
amazing. I love them to my best friends. I love them so much. I've grown so much with them. And
Yeah,
so I have this joke with her that like if something happens to her, I get him. If something happens to her.
that's fair.
But all these gays are all up on him. And I'm like, no. I
"Move,
knew
bitch."
this
Yeah,
man,
uh-huh,
I knew
uh-huh.
this man before he was who he was today. I did not go
He's
up
I invested in this.
I did not I made this man who he is. Okay.
Right, right.
I'm first in line. Do not respect the order, bitch.
Yeah,
Respect the
I
I am
I know that's damn right. Well, I am forever, and I again, I know I say this all the time. You winning means I win, and I anytime you're glowing means I'm glowing, and so I'm
mhm.
just so grateful to see my friend being celebrated the way that they should and the way that they deserve. You do a
Thank you,
lot
thank
of
you.
and I think that's the thing people don't know. I think people think all we do is turn on a microphone each week, but I'm like, we are literally in the grounds doing a
Are
lot of
living
stuff,
full lives, doing
like,
full things,
and
like
for a lot of people. Like,
mhm,
we're doing a
mhm.
lot of things. Like, I mean, you're doing a lot for your queer community. You're doing a lot for the Jewish community. You're doing a lot for the Black Jewish queer community. I'm doing stuff for the queer babies. I'm like, so we're all like if it's not on the show, like we're literally not quote unquote in it. And I think people think this is just what we do, and there's so much more. And so when I see you being celebrated outside of like, yes, the nominations, and we're gonna talk about that in a second, the nominations and
Okay.
and all of the opportunities we get from the show is great, but I also think it's so beautiful to say like, wow, my friend is actually being celebrated for the amazing work they do in their community. And so
Thank
I
you,
love
thank
that for you. Speaking of which, it bears repeating, and I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to say it at the top of this episode. I'm going to say it at the
you.
end of the
Mhm.
episode because I know that some people, I don't know, you may forget. I don't know, but anyway, all that to
Okay.
be said, it bears repeating that on top of us flying out in a couple weeks to the Full Figure Awards, we are nominated for two Signal Awards, and so we are nominated both in the DEI and the LGBTQ category. You can go to the website. If you just search BlackFatFemme, both of them will come up. It's a quick vote. All you have to do is sign in. I think for me, it's really exciting because again, I told myself before the show even happened and before you even came on as a host, in my mind, I said one day I'm gonna win a Shorty Award. One day I'm gonna win a Signal Award, and it's just it's mind boggling to think that we are nominated for
Mm,
two of them this year. And so I wanted to ask you, like, what would it mean for us to win this award? Like before we get into the show, like thinking about the fact that now not only are you an award winner
mhm.
in your community, we've won an award for the show already. Like now, if we win the Full Figure and we win the Signal Award, like what would that mean for you?
Well, I mean, really great question. I mean, they're 2 very different things, right? Like the Full Figured
Mhm.
Award that it's focused on like like plus size, fat positive industry folks, and so we're nominated for like best podcast. I believe best podcast category for this award that is like best fashion, best creator,
Mhm.
like it's all these other
Mhm.
things too within the context of being plus size, and so I think that would be like amazing to get like to be seen like as someone who's leading something really important, as
Yeah.
people who are leading something really important in this work, who leads with our like best, biggest, and biggest pun intended selves. I think
Hey,
that
come on,
how
kiddies.
you doing? I think that's really
Yes.
special.
Mhm,
So I think
mhm.
it mean a lot, and that and but also like just being nominated to me is also truly is like amazing to me too.
Yeah, it's an honor.
Like they could pick so many other people, shows, XYZ, and they chose us, and that's
Yeah.
really special. The Signal Awards,
Mhm.
right? They focus, I think, particularly on media, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
And so in a landscape where we know that our voices. Oh, sorry. So they focus particularly on podcasts. So, like, right. So
Mhm.
they focus particularly on podcasts. So in a landscape where there's truly hundreds of thousands of podcasts that are
Yeah.
out, including AI ones. I want to make a point that there are AI podcasts that are taking work away from editors, from producers, from
Mm.
actual podcast hosts,
Mhm.
right? Like that
Mhm.
are trying to take this work away from us and
Yeah.
from other creators, and that's really like sad, right? So they have hundreds of thousands of podcasts to choose from, ours included, right? Even others on our network. To be chosen is a huge honor, and also that it's the listener's choice, which means that the listeners are the ones that have like thought of us, who are
Yeah.
like, oh, I want this show to be thought of and celebrated. So
Yeah.
that
It's
is like
real.
that's really really
Mhm.
incredible. So I feel like extra grateful, and to win it, right, would also demonstrate for us, because John and I often feel like not that our show doesn't get the flowers it deserves. In some ways, it does, I think, but more like we aren't reaching the people that we know we can reach. That
T.
like we deserve to reach and deserve to be heard or
Mhm.
represented or feel seen or heard in this
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
And so I think this would be a great way to say like the people actually do see
See
us.
us. Yeah.
And so yeah,
Yeah, and I don't take
that's
lightly,
my
I,
thought.
you can see when people vote, you can see what percentage things are, right? I don't take lightly that, for the last couple of weeks, that I mean, it's been open for a week, we're up there, right? Our numbers are up there. So I don't take that lightly. For friends, for listeners, for people who have our listeners who've become my friends, the fact that you go in and that you vote, it means a lot to me to know that you see it. For us, and I was going to say, like, to your point, Joho, for me, like, it would tell me that the folks really see it for our content and the work that we put out, because what people don't understand
Hmm.
is that this shit is hard. And some of y'all have come to this show after kind of we've hit a couple of, different hurdles. We had people who were coming in at the beginning of the show, were going in intentionally and leaving bad comments so it could push and suppress our show
Hmm.
down. We had to work with Apple and we had to work with Spotify to get some of those comments removed. We've had people say really terrible things to us online. So, like,
Hmm.
it's not just, and then it's just the full scope of us doing the show, right? Like, we're doing the show virtually and sometimes in person, and it's scheduling and it's, editor stuff and it's downloading and it's your mic goes out. Like, there's all of these things that I don't think people fully
Yeah.
put in. And then also the idea of, like, and then this is the other thing I want to say for listeners too, like, who listen to the show regularly. I recognize there are a lot of funny, cheeky, haha shows out there where two queer people get on the mic and they just queen out. And it's no shade to them. No shade to them for what they're doing. But I also think what people don't seem to get about this show is that there's a lot of intentionality that comes with this show. Me and Joho have to think about guests. We have to think about show topics that feel timely,
Hmm.
but also are going to speak to bigger issues. Like, this shit is work. And I don't, I'm not coming on here to say, oh, we deserve more. But I think, every week we bring something to all of you that we want to make sure feels like, if it like, we want content that we can look at the end of the day and go, that's some damn good content. Even if
Hmm.
only two people listen to that episode, that's that's some damn good content. And so,
Hmm.
um yeah, I appreciate, when friends reach out to me and say, "Oh, that episode stuck with me," or "That episode spoke to me," or "That episode really helped me put some stuff into perspective." And I get some of those message often.
Yeah,
And I want to say thank you to everyone who sees it for our show. And so I could go on for hours about that, but I just wanted to
yeah.
kind of just take a moment to kind of, stop. We've been at this for almost 5 years. And it means a lot. It means, like, as we're getting ready to go into our fifth year of the show, 2026 will be year 5 for us. I really want folks to understand that if you have not told someone about this show, please do. But for the
Mhm.
folks who have rocked with us from day one, the friends who knew what me and Joho went through to get to iHeart, to get this show sold, to keep this show on the air, to have, we've been through, and again, I also want to make sure we shout out our new producer. We've gone through 3 or 4 different iterations of producers. We have a new producer now who I think is absolutely fabulous and fantastic. Fantastic. Joey, I know you're listening, and I definitely just want to say thank you. And we appreciate
Mhm.
how easy you've made it for us to transition into this new vision of Black Fat Femme. But
Yeah.
I just kind of want listeners to know, like, we see y'all and we love y'all and we appreciate y'all as much as y'all appreciate us. So yeah, let's
Mm.
start the show, girl.
Well, so I just wanna say before we get into the still
Yeah.
here, because you named, right, being award winners, but you didn't name that you are a award show host as well too.
T.
Like,
Yeah.
you're about to host the 10th annual Shorty Impact Awards, which is also a feat in itself.
Mhm.
Like, that is amazing because not only, like, we were an award winner, and then you were asked to be a host of an award show, which is, like, iconic as fuck, and so I hope
Yeah.
that you give yourself the flowers for that as well too, and, like, recognize that that is also a huge accolade, 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 like, it really is.
Stupid. I hate you for that. But
So
yes, that is yeah, accolade, accolade, accolade. I am screaming. I love you so much. You're
I love
literally
you
my
so
true
much.
BFF through and through. Yeah.
You my fucking girl. I'm excited. New York is not ready for us, girl. New York is not ready for
Literally,
us. But
literally.
anyways, let's kick off the show that we do every week with our Still Hair segment by honoring our girl, Miss Sisha Campbell, and living for the moments that we refuse to let go of. So this
Mhm.
week, to celebrate the start of LGBTQ plus History Month, which is this great month of October, we love to see it.
Mhm.
I want to
Mhm.
ask you a question. What is a LGBTQ plus history moment that you feel we don't talk about enough? Now, mine's is cheeky. Yours is good. Mine's is cheeky. Because
I know what
mine
it is, and I'm
is
screaming.
in honor of the
Mm.
last showgirl that just was dropped today. When I say
Ugh.
honor, I mean that in the most satirical way, and I get that I may receive death threats after this, and
We will.
I'm not
I
prepared for
people are going off on me on threads at the current time because I have said nothing but terrible things about that
so
lady.
we
Mhm.
don't discuss enough the "You Need to Calm Down" video, which
Mm.
was a song by Miss Swizzy, or Miss Swift if you're nasty, that they call a gay anthem, um, where,
Mm-mm.
the song allegedly addresses internet trolls and homophobia and voices of support for the queer community. It was produced with Touch Hall, features a lot of cameos, um but, like,
Mm-mm.
I don't think it was really, like I don't think it was really that, like, changing. Like,
Nar,
I was just like,
nar,
okay,
nar.
like,
Mm.
for example, I get that she tried to, I believe, like, following the song, she, pushed people to donate to GLAAD, and then also to sign the Change.org petition for the United States Senate to pass the Equality Act, which
Mm.
I believe has not been passed yet still.
Still
So,
ain't.
let's talk about that. Let's wake that one up first. Um, I I I just people
Mhm.
listen, people live for her and then what she does,
Yeah.
and I love that for her,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think it's
Mm,
great.
yeah.
Did she
Mm,
have some amazing cameos?
mm,
Yes.
yeah.
Did I enjoy the cameos?
Uh-huh. Mm,
Yes.
yeah.
Did I think
Mm.
did I think it please, did I think it was like a piece of art?
Mm, yeah.
Remains to be seen.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm. Yeah.
she's who I would say she gives us allyship,
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
and that's fine. I she's not our accomplice,
That's funny. Mhm.
she's not our accomplice, but she's an ally. So, like,
Mm-mm.
ally, go ahead,
Mhm.
girl. But we don't discuss it enough because she thought she ate down with it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm
Wow.
sure she sits and she's like, I gave the gays what they were asking for, and I'm like I did it, and
She gives a
I'm
specific demographic of
you,
gays.
which is why I said I think she said I believe she
Mhm.
believes
Mhm.
that she
Mhm.
gave the gays what we're asking for,
Mhm. Mm.
and
Mhm.
I have met very few gays who well, she made a gay anthem. She did not make a queer anthem. That's what I'll say.
And that's that on
That's
that.
and that's the tea.
And that's the tea, babes. That's the tea.
That's the tea, babe.
So and this is the thing, so I've said this in so many different facets and factions, and I think it is also imperative for us to understand and note, like, we don't expect like I don't see
Yeah.
politician and celebrity as synonymous. Like, I don't need my celebrities to be politicians, and I don't love the idea of a lot of politicians being celebrities. However, if you are going to use your celebrity for a political movement, make sure that you do your research. And I think that's the
Yeah.
thing, like, or talk to other people who are doing it well, Like,
Like
I
some people give us a
struggle.
song and some give us an album.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah,
They're
yeah.
not the same.
Yeah,
You know?
they really
Like
aren't the same. They really
some
aren't.
people give us a song that's for the white gays, and
Mhm.
some give us an entire album based off of queer black house music.
Renaissance, yeah, and it's I also want to make sure that because I mean, people could probably come back to this conversation and say you're so hard on Taylor Swift and you don't ever say anything about Beyonce. Do I think Beyonce is a great icon? No, but what I will say is this: GLAAD gave her an award for her work, and so she came out with an entire album that was very well researched, that was very well rooted in she said the queer people who encouraged me or helped me become who I am, I'm going to do an album to celebrate them.
Like she gave us literature
Yeah,
and well, and also just to that point, like I'm not going to sit here and critique black women all day. Like
that
this is
part.
not gonna be my journey.
Nah, I will
I will
never do
happily
that.
critique white folks. Like
Yeah.
I'll happily critique white folks any
Mhm.
day because
I'm
in the
happily
day
critique.
they exist in different power systems.
That part.
Like
That part.
so,
And the world
and
is not the same. The world that Beyonce lives in is not the world that Taylor Swift lives in. I just want to make that very
yeah,
clear.
and
So I'm right
yeah,
there with you.
yeah, it's just I
Mhm.
mean, and I am striving to not I don't wanna pit them against each other for blah, 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 but,
That's not what
but
I'm
it's
doing.
like it's 2
Yeah.
bodies of work that are just very
Mhm.
different in scope and
Mhm.
scale, and to me, I'm and
It's the
again,
intention. It's
it's
the
the right, it's the
intention.
it's the fact that I'm like, she thinks she ate with this,
Mhm.
and,
And it was very surface. It was
it
very
was and it
surface.
felt very surface,
Yes. Mhm.
yeah, anyways, I'm
Yeah.
sure someone will attack me for it. Fight with your mom,
And
not
if
with
they
me, it's
do and if
fine.
they do, go fight a Republican. There's
Like
enough out there for us to argue with. So go do
yeah.
that, sis. But what I will say is, I think you are very, 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 like, spot on with that critique in a lot of ways. So yeah. I, so for me, in terms of my still here, I think a lot about. I want to say friend to the show. They have not been on the show, but B Scott has been very supportive of me and my career in a lot of different ways in the last few years. For those of you who met B Scott in 2008, like I did, they were, in my opinion, one of the first non-binary people I had ever come across. They were asked to do a spot or do some hosting for BET, and I don't know if you all were following that, but basically there was a whole situation around what B Scott was wearing, them not wanting B Scott on the red carpet, blah 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 blah. All of these things kind of happened, and the long of the short of it was that they were asked basically not to go out and do any type of work for BET at that time. And later down the line, they ended up being able, they filed a lawsuit. There was this whole thing around it, and then eventually, I think I'm pretty sure BET settled with B Scott and even gave B Scott an opportunity, to do more work when there were some shows around for Lena Waithe that came out. But what I will say is, like, what I loved about that moment for me was B Scott was not backing down from this idea of I'm going to be my authentic self at all times. And I've seen it happen. And it's not even saying it happens now, because we see a lot of people that are kind of like rolling back their queerness in a lot of ways to keep work,
Mm,
to make sure they get booked, to make sure that they're not quote unquote ruffling feathers. In that moment, B. Scott said, I don't care if you're black, white, green, yellow, or beige. I am a black queer person, and this is how I show up, and you're going to deal. And so, B, I've been saying for months, I would love, I don't know what your schedule is giving, but I would love to have you on the show if you're listening. But all that to be
mm,
said, I've always loved B. Scott for literally, and doing it in a very, very, how do I say this? Um, Doing it in a very like, I don't, clean is not the word, doing it in a very, and I don't want to say professional because I think professional is gross, but doing it in a way where it didn't feel gross, right? Like doing it in a way where
mm.
it was, because they could have dragged BT, they could have used
Yeah.
their platform, they could have gone online, they could have said all these terrible things about BT, and they basically said, nope, there was just this moment of discrimination that happened, and I'm
Mm,
gonna handle it the way it needs to be handled. And it was just done in such a, like very Mariah Carey of it all. It was just very
yeah.
done very well. And I've always looked at B. Scott as just being so
Mm,
regal and just the literally the antithesis of what I think black queer excellence is, from the way they handle themselves, how they handle situations, how they work. Like I've never heard anyone say anything terrible about who they are and what they do. So I stand B. Scott, and I definitely think that's a LGBTQ history moment for me that will always like live at the forefront of my mind. And if you, like I said, if you don't know who B. Scott is, a lot of your queer influencers and people that you love, they've studied. They come from the school of B. Scott. They come from the YouTube pages of B. Scott, and yeah, I just definitely love everything about them and what they stand for. So,
mm. I love to hear it.
mhm.
All right. Well, first of all, be Scott, if you're listening, I hope you are. I hope that you reach out to us to be on the show, please, 'cause we would love to have you, be a gift to have
Yes,
you.
please come on down.
And listeners, now that we've given you a reason to do some more Googles or Bings or Yahoo searches or whatever floats your boat, girl, around LGBT plus History Month, we're gonna take a quick break and come back with what this week's category is in just a sec.
All right, y'all. So this week, we have celebrated LGBTQ History Month in so many different facets in the last, like I said, we're getting ready to go into year 5 of the show. We've had multiple episodes where we've talked about coming out, we've talked about LGBTQ history, we've talked about all these different things. But I felt like one thing that we have kind of not really touched around, or we've talked about, as you all know, coming out day is this Saturday. And so by the time you all hear this episode, many of you have probably thought about, your own history, thought about the history of folks that you love and that you look up to. And so I wanted to kind of do something that kind of flips this conversation on its head. Instead of us talking about our coming out experiences, I don't know what episode it is. I know we've talked about it in the past. You can go listen to that episode. It's probably somewhere in the 30s or the 40s. We wanted to center this week's conversation on this idea of what our lives look like now that we have come out. And so this week, I know people talk about, oh, it gets better, and oh, coming out, and I've become the person. I even did a segment this year, about who I'm meant to be around my queerness. But I really wanted to ask the
Mm.
question: how has your life changed since coming out? And so me and Joho are going to just take a moment to kind of quiz each other and ask questions, and just kind of, go down a walk of memory lane, and not necessarily talk about our coming out experience, but really just talk about this idea: how has your sense of self and your identity changed since you decided to let the world in, on who you truly are? And so I would love to know, like, what's different for you, my love? Like, what even maybe what's different now that you have. I mean, we have a platform. People know us as a queer show, and you're doing LGBTQ work in so many different facets. So, like, what does life look like for Jordan?
Yeah, I think so. What's changed is just for sure like my line of work. Like when before I came out, it was, and I came out as a really young age, but like I
Mm,
was never thinking I would be doing this type of work. Like
yeah.
my vision of myself was like I was gonna be a chef. I was gonna be a chef or an actor. And
I
so I'm
see it.
like,
I see it.
thank you,
Mhm.
thank you. And maybe someday I still will be, but I never envisioned the turn it would take to be focusing on queer communities like this. I think my sense of self elevated has and it always elevates I think I always had a strong sense of self in many ways, strong sense of, like, personality, but I'm at a point where, like, I used to be so concerned with fitting the right image for something,
Mhm.
and I think now, especially these past few years, I'm just not concerned with that. I'm not concerned with fitting the image of XYZ. I'm concerned with fitting my image, the what I envision myself. I'm concerned sometimes with fitting like the image of that my friends may have of me
Right.
because they love me and I love them. Um, but I'm not concerned with fitting the image of what like the world thinks I should be.
Mhm.
Like I think like it's silly in some ways, but also not like. And in some cases, me having my nails done and like having like these little claws isn't significant to me.
Right.
But I also know that in some places, it's very significant.
Mhm.
It's like
Real.
people have never seen that before, and they're like, "What the hell?"
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's a moment where I can be endangered by it,
Right.
and a point where I still choose to do so, no matter where I am, because it's like makes me feel like my best self. So I think
Mm.
also
Real.
what's also changed is I I refuse to shrink myself to make somebody else comfortable. And I
Mm.
refuse and but I also refuse to disengage. Like, most times when people right, like, when people ask about it, they actually aren't like they don't hate you, they're just they don't know, so they're scared because they don't know. And so I think I also took the time to say, "You have a question,
Mhm.
like, let's talk about it, girl."
Yeah.
Right? Like, if someone's like, why you got the nails on?" If I respond, "Because it's my business, bitch," then then we'll have a fight. Versus if I'm like, "Why do you hate nails?"
Yeah.
Like, let's right? And
Who
invite
said
them to have a
who said they're only for women? That's the real question, but go off.
exactly, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
right,
Who
that's kinda
said?
like right, like but, like, if you
Mhm.
invite them with more questions versus
Mhm.
responses, then
Mhm.
then I think, like, I'm able to out like, I'm able to change more. So I think also, like, knowing that my proximity to change making is different as I grow up and grow more and more as I'm continually becoming in my queer self. So yeah, I think those are ways in which, my identity has changed.
Yeah.
And also, like and also recent this year, right, like, I shifted my pronouns to he, they.
Mhm.
I and like not because and it's not significant to this in the sense of if people say he, him, I'm not gonna be mad. Like I'm not mad about it, but I chose it because, and I think it's also a great reminder that queerness is always evolving and never
Right.
just static.
Right.
But I chose he, they because I still very much feel like cis in many ways, but I also feel like cis, like sis cis.
Mhm.
And I think like my
CIS too though.
Okay, no, CIS and SIS, okay?
Yes,
Never
both.
SOS, but
Duality.
always S.
Uh-huh.
Well, so do
Uh-huh.
exactly, because I feel like the way I present myself is beyond a container, and
Right.
so that's a
Right.
huge change, is, like, I
Yeah.
also refuse to be contained.
Yeah, I love that answer is very on brand for what I was hoping this segment would give, and I actually
Mm,
love your answer because, as I think about my own sense of self and how it has changed, people, I used to think of myself, and again, you start doing the math, right? When people used to call me extra, I always used to be like, oh, okay, well, people don't like me because I'm extra. But I think now that I've done the work and now that I have gone through my own healing journey with like both mental health meds and then also having a therapist and having a great psychologist, being deemed extra for some folks is this notion of I'm too comfortable in my identity and showing up the way that I am. And so I think that's one of the things, I've really come to love is that when people call me extra, it's like, yeah, I am extra because I've done the work to become this person who's very
mm,
confident in who they are. I love the word femme now. Being deemed as trans doesn't bother me. In a lot of ways, I've learned that being queer, being trans can look like so many different things. And it really makes me happy to think that I've done the work to remove this homo negative connotation of what it means to be me or to be extra in this world. And in so much of what you were saying too, like challenging and pushing back, that kind of holding my own, right? When someone is thrown off by me, or thrown off by my identity, or you know it's so powerful that I get to stand in it. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I'm taking up space in this nail shop as a cisgender man who's trans or non-binary, however you want to identify me. But again, and it's not to say I'm trying to take up space from women per se, but what I'm saying is doing the things that I personally love for myself. I think that's been a big thing for me, dressing the way I want to dress, wearing the clothes I want to wear, wearing the shoes I want to wear, doing my nails. Like, I have, there's, and again, I talk about this in my book. Getting my nails done was something I dreamed of as a kid because I love the nail
Mhm.
shop. I love the community of the nail shop, whether it be black women talking to black women, or Asian women talking to one another and creating, like, I think the nail shop, there's a lot to be said around what happens at the nail shop. And I think, whether it be a black nail shop or an Asian nail shop, I don't know what they do in them white ones because I don't really go to white nail shops like that. But I say all of that to say I just think, there's so much to be said about really liking who you are, even more than that, loving who you are in a world that's constantly telling you that you're supposed to question every single piece of that. And so that's been really
Yeah.
fun for me.
I
Mhm.
feel like the through end of that for both of us is, like, just rejecting limitations.
Yeah, real.
Like, when I think about, like, not that I wanna make it about Wicked, but, like, right, like, in Divine Gravity when she says, "I refuse," she please. She says, "I'm through accepting limits because someone says or so."
Right.
Is like a
Brianna,
it's a
that was
deep
for
it's
you. Brianna, that was definitely for you. Brianna's one of the listeners who loves anytime we mention Wicked. So Brianna, we
Oh,
love you.
bitch,
We speak your
I thought
name.
you said Rihanna,
No,
like the singer. I
Brianna
said,
is a
"What?"
listener who
Period,
I'm
ma'am.
sure
Yes,
she
no,
is
but
going to love
period,
the
yes.
fact that I thought about her as soon as you said that. But yes, Brianna,
Like,
this is your
but
segment.
facts,
Mhm.
like, we're told to be limited, but we actually unlimited, like, we actually
Yes.
are unlimited,
Mhm.
and so I think, like, right, like, it's us saying and one thing it was just the Jewish New Year, and I had a Seder with some friends. We talked about, like, what do we wish for each other in this new year, and I was like,
Mm,
I wish everybody, like, to release limits, to no
mm,
longer feel limited by themselves or by what the world tells them to do. Like,
mm,
we as queer people already exist beyond the bounds of what people tell us or the world tells us. So why should I accept more limits on
mm,
myself?
mm.
Yeah, anyways,
Drag me,
I
bitch. Go off.
but I
Drag
wanna
the
ask
fuck out of me. I needed to hear that message. I swear.
the
Go
but
off.
I
Mm.
wanna ask you, my BFF,
Yes.
what relationships have changed you the most since coming out?
Mm,
Whether it's
mm.
friends, family, colleagues, what have changed you the most, but also who have you changed the most too?
Yeah. I think what's real for me is, again, I never really know who's listening to the show or who finds the show, but there was an individual. I was telling my husband about this a few weeks ago. We were talking about this, but I was saying, like, to be honest, I used to be so scared of trans. I didn't know what trans was. I didn't comprehend what transness
Mm,
meant. Like, the world had made me so fearful of this idea. And it was specifically, I won't say the name of the person,
mm,
but I used to have a colleague who was trans when I used to work in higher ed. And there were all these preconceived notions about this person being trans. And so I think as much as people think that this whole fear trans people rhetoric is new, it's not. It has been around for years. And I say all of that to say I used to be so terrified of that, right? I was okay with, I won't even say okay. I tolerated the conversation around queer, but the idea of someone thinking me or
mm,
anyone else was trans was like, almost, it was one of the most scary things for me. And now I think I've really grown into this thing of, like, I feel like part the like the bright spot of being LGBTQ is trans people. It just
mm.
is. It is. And when I say that
It is.
specifically, I mean black trans people. Every black trans person that I know, whether it be an acquaintance or it be a true friend to me, has poured into me in ways that I don't think the world will ever understand or comprehend. I look at, for instance, Travell Anderson, the way that they always speak to me whenever we're together. We don't see each other talk a lot, but when I am with them, I feel so uplifted. I think
Mm,
about, King Texas, who's another one, just Texas Isaiah, another person who is very, very supportive. They will bop in my DMs and say, "Hey,
Mhm.
girl, I see you. Keep doing what you're doing." There's so many trans people that I know that just love me for me, and it really just makes me feel like I can do anything and that I can be anything. And so, I will say this: my DMs and my email is open to more trans, femme, non-binary people to surround myself with, both here in Los Angeles and across, NYC, because I feel like my friendships are not just limited to where I live. My friendships are bountiful throughout this world. And I love
Mhm.
I love learning what transness looks like in other places. But what I also will say too is, I've learned a lot about myself by listening and respecting the journey of other and it's not to say that black trans people are the only people that I love and respect. I love black queer people too, because a lot of them, I think about my good friend Toy, and I think about my good friend, Tori, and I think about, a lot, just again, like there are all of these people around me who have really uplifted me. But I find so much love and joy in watching trans people say, this is who the fuck I am. And you're going to have, like, again, Dominique Morgan, great example. T.S. Madison, great example. This is who the fuck I am. And you can call me every name in the book, but it don't mean I got to answer to it. Or you can
Mhm.
call me every name in the book and I'm going to make a check. I'm going to make some money off of it. Cause that's really what, they laugh at T.S. Madison, and that's exactly what she did. That bitch is laughing to the bank, in so many different ways. She really is. And so, I think that's just where I am. I think about, even thinking about us, right? Like the idea that people used to laugh at me, and probably you were bullied too, I'm sure, for being effeminate. And
Mhm.
it's like now we can say our femininity got my book sold. Our femininity has got this show to be a three-time nominated podcast, and then it's also an award-winning podcast, right? So like that's the kind of shit I think a lot about, is like how do we repurpose, how do we reshift a lot of the things we think about. And to your point, right, I feel like I've become so much more confident in saying I can say I'm a badass bitch because I'm standing in who I am, but I'm also encouraging other people to stand in who they are too. What about you?
Yeah. I mean, I feel the same way. I feel like I can say I'm a badass bitch because I'm surrounded by badass bitches. Like
Mhm,
I
mhm, mhm,
like everyone like when like the episode of Insecure with Kelly and playing Natasha Rothwell
mhm,
and Lawrence, when he's like, Kelly, like, oh, he was like, Kelly, like, how your friends doing? And she was like, everyone I associate with is thriving and
mhm, mhm,
abundance,
mhm.
limitless. Like that's how I feel sometimes. Like everyone I
Right.
associate with is thriving in abundance. I mean, not always in abundance, but not always thriving. But I think for me, like I've been changed by my relationships. I think each of my friendships changed me. I don't have many straight friends, and that's by design. And I'm okay with that, honestly. But I've been changed by them because I've been changed by the relationships I have because I'm very intentional with who I have in my life. I'm very intentional with who I feel like kinship with. I'm very intentional with who I want to be surrounded by, who I want to feel uplifted by, and who I want to uplift and surround myself. And so yeah, so I think relationships that have changed me the most. I mean, I also say like, but also the relationships that were hard also changed me too. Like I think about like my relationship with my parents changed me a lot. As challenging as it was, and
Yeah, that's
sometimes it was
real.
with my mom, right? It gave me the greatest level of empathy for
Mhm.
others, and to say like, like I understand that they've had to unlearn a lot to learn about me. I'm working with somebody right now for Black Pride, who like they like they're like 70 years old, and so their language is still transvestite, right? Like that's their language because that's the language that they had. They won't say queer, they identify as LGBTQ is what they say.
Right.
But like I have like that changes me because I have to understand their proximity to the language is different, right? I'm currently reading the biography of Marsha P. Johnson by that was written by Tourmaline. And like, oh, like the law of the language in it is the word transvestite because that's what was used,
Right.
right?
Right.
Star House, Three Transvestites, Action Revolutionaries by Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera. Like that
Mhm,
was what
mhm.
was used, and so I'm being changed by that because I'm realizing, like, oh, like I also like have to recognize that my framework now is so different and then theirs is, but doesn't make them
Mhm.
like any less, right? Like I like right having a good relationship with elder work is understanding that the elders
Mm.
framework is different than yours, but it still is a framework that can be used and worked with.
Yeah.
And so we're working on how we're working on bridging the gap between my language and theirs, and how do we
Mm.
bring that language to our community of elders like in you know, in this Black queer and trans space.
Mhm.
And so that I think that's changed me a lot. Yeah,
Mm.
every person changes me in every possible way.
Yeah.
I'm curious to ask you, what are some of the biggest challenges you faced since
Mm.
coming out, and how have you overcome them?
So, gosh, I mean, this episode's going to be long. I think, one of the biggest challenges, I think I've had to kind of come over or had to overcome is really this idea of living in a world where, again, kind of going back to that point of what I made earlier, right? This notion of like not being extra, not being yourself, right? Like not being effeminate or not enjoying or being effeminate, right? Being labeled something. And so,
Mm,
I think learning to love who you are is hard. And I think that's also part of this answer for me, right? Like learning to love the idea that just by nature, I've always been a soft person. And I've mentioned this in other episodes before, but also it, what I have not talked about is this idea of being able to find that softness attractive for myself, right? Not waiting for the world to find that softness or that femininity attractive and being like, whoever finds it attractive, yay. And those who don't, they ain't for me. And I think that's the thing I don't think we talk
mm,
enough about, right? We talk about this idea of like love yourself for who you are and blah, 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 blah. But it can feel like a setup that Todd, it can feel up like a setup that Todd schemed, or a scheme that Todd set up,
mm,
right? Where
mhm,
it's where you're feeling like, well, I like myself, but because the world or the community or people in the community don't want me to be this way, then I should dim my light a little bit so that way I can get other people to like me. And it's like, no, fuck that, right? If you are a extra girl, if you are effeminate, if you want to go out in daytime drag, you want to do a beat, you want to wear a heel, do that,
okay.
right? Do that. And I think for me, it's like, you know, sometimes it makes me want to fight because I think so much of me wanting to kick myself in the ass for how much time I wasted trying to be something for other people who never really gave a fuck about me anyway, right? Who never really saw it for me anyway, who never really cared about my wellness and my joy and my happiness. They only saw what they could see. And so it just, I think about that. Like, I guess this is just my, my long way of saying, like, be who the fuck you want to be, right? And do it in a safe way. All right. I want to make sure that I say that because I know, especially now, not everything is safe for us, right? Not every space is safe. And we're noticing and we're seeing that even in spaces we think we safe, we're not, right? I want to make sure I say that. But I'm also saying we don't know how much longer or how long we get to be on this earth and this on this timeline. God, Lee, God, please get me off this timeline. But we don't we
Golly,
don't know how
golly.
long we get to be here in this life. And so
Mhm,
do what the fuck makes you happy. And if you have to, it's gonna be hard as fuck when you come out. Yes, there are gonna be people who turn their backs on you. Yes, there are gonna be people who talk shit about you. Yes, there are gonna be people, but that is going to be your moment of freedom. So to freedom,
mm,
like I think the challenge for me was getting myself to freedom and allowing myself to say I have the right to like every single element of who I am, the fat, the black, the ugly,
mm.
the moments where, my titties move a little too much when I go up the stairs. I'm okay with that. And I think that's been one of my biggest challenges. But anyway, what about yourself, my love? I feel like I'm rambling.
No, I mean, I think what you're saying is, like, really just I think you say is important and necessary for one for yourself to share, but also for the people to hear, because it's yeah, like, we want everyone to love themselves, and we can only do that by modeling that for us, so I don't think you're rambling at
Mhm.
all. I
Mhm.
think the biggest challenge I faced since coming out and how I overcame it. Ooh. Um, like, it's like, as you're sharing, part of me was also like, I'm so tired of being, like, reductive in the sense of, like, one big things about, like, desirability, but
Mm.
also, like, but also it's such a like it's just such a present thing in so many of like the world. So it's like I can't also can't avoid that.
Mhm, mhm.
So when you like, I'll say like well, I'll say like one thing about desirability is like challenges I've over faced coming out is like having to discover what's desirable to like a whole different group of people, right? To like now
Mm,
the same gender or same sex or same gender or either like or non-binary from there,
yeah.
and having to figure out like what that means for myself, and overcoming it by being like, if that's like I'm not gonna be asking my girl if that's what you want, then that's what you want. But like you may need to reflect on your preferences
That
first of
part.
all,
Mhm. Don't
and
you get tired of eating wheat thins?
don't you
Don't
like
y'all get tired of eating
oh,
wheat
you get so
thins?
tired. Like, I was like, also, I'm like, you're just so boring. Like, you're just so boring. Like,
Mm,
I'm
mhm,
bored. I'm
mhm.
bored by it.
It's giving the
Um,
same 5 things on Raising Cane's menu,
I'm
bitch.
bored by it. Okay, well,
Aren't you over it?
don't come for my girl and canes. The chicken's fine. Let's calm
But
down.
no, but I'm just
Not too
saying
much of my
though. You
girl.
know what I
But
mean
yes.
though, right? Like
No,
it's
okay,
there's
yes, yes,
no
yes, yes.
where's the
Yes.
variety?
Where's exactly, right? Give me I'm a Cheesecake Factory kind of girl. Give me a whole menu. I don't care if
I
it's too
want
much.
a full
Give me the whole menu.
menu.
I want an experience. I
Yes.
think challenge I face also like is understanding. Like one challenge I face a lot since coming out is knowing how much I have to adapt. Like
Mm,
also being queer is like adapting in real time. And sometimes a bitch is tired. But
yeah,
like
that's
but
so real.
your community will hold you to account, girl. Your
Mhm.
community will get you right. And so
Uh-huh.
sometimes exactly.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'm like, damn, like I really committed
Mhm.
to a life of like constant shifting and adjusting,
Yeah.
and having to be okay with that. And understanding that like that is just gonna like that's gonna be part of my life. And how to how to be okay with getting it wrong, right?
Mm, mhm, mhm.
I've faced the idea. The challenge has been perfectionism, and I've overcome it by saying like it's okay that I'm gonna get it wrong because I will get it
Mm,
wrong. And
mhm.
my community, if they love me, which I know they do, will hold me accountable and
Real.
teach me better
Yeah.
and help me see what's better here.
Real.
Um,
Mhm, mhm.
yeah.
Mm, mhm. That's real. That's real. I guess, kind of folding out of that, one of the last questions that I have for you as, this whole episode, we're celebrating, like I said, LGBTQ History Month, and we're just talking about our experiences, about who we are and how we've kind of gotten to this place of just being joyful and loving who we are in a world that's honestly trying to tell us to go away. I think one of the questions that I may have asked before, and I think at this moment it's important for us to revisit, and if I haven't
Mhm.
asked this question, it's important for us to still talk about it. But I did want to say, I do realize that it's been some years since we've talked about who we are, where we've come from, what we've been through, and how we've gotten to this place of having a platform, winning awards, just all the things that we do around LGBTQ-ness. And so I think it's important for us to have this conversation and to have a whole episode that focuses just on the category of being LGBTQ icons in our own way, right? By no means do I believe my work is as legendary as as it can be, and we're getting there, and
Okay.
we're on a journey, honey. But I think it's
Okay.
important for sometimes to just stop and in the middle of all of this and use our platform to remind other people that shit's hard right now, and we're looking for in different ways. We're trying to figure out how do we love ourselves in a world that doesn't love us. And so
Mhm.
using our whole episode to really just kind of tell people in this moment that they matter and that their lived experiences matter, I think is so important outside of all the other shit that we could be talking about with our platform. So the last question I guess I have for you is, what advice would you give to someone who is, and again, you may have given this advice before, you can give it again, but somebody who's thinking this weekend, I'm going to tell my family I'm coming out, or maybe next week after Saturday, I'm going to go do what I do, but this next week I'm going to tell my people, that I want to come out. Like, what are you hoping? What would you tell someone who is hoping that coming out is going to change their life?
Okay, so walk with me on this one.
I got you. I'm with you.
I want people to understand first that like Like the act itself isn't changing your life.
Mhm.
Like coming out isn't changing your life. You're changing your life.
Mhm.
And so, and
Mhm.
like, I say that in a sense of like, we're giving it too much power to be like coming out and changing my life. Like,
Right.
you're changing your life. Coming out
Mhm.
is a process of that. Being who you are changes your life because you're changing your life by being who you are.
Mhm.
And I say
Mhm.
that in the sense of like, when you come out, you won't control who reacts to it. You won't control how they react to it. You won't
Real.
control what happens with it. All you control is how you react to the reaction and what you do with the information that you share with yourself. So
Real.
you are changing your life. And so I say that the advice I have for people is you are in control. Understand that
Mhm.
you are in control of yourself. Like, but yeah,
Mm.
like you're in control of yourself. You're not in control of everybody else, right? You're in control of yourself. You get to choose how you share it. You get to choose if someone reacts badly, but we want to share more or not. Like you have agency in this, and so take it. Take the agency.
Mm.
Share your full being with everybody that you want to, and if they don't like it, take the agency to say, you know what, that's fine.
Fuck you, hoe. Yeah.
You don't need to be here then for it, right?
Right. 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 Right.
Like
Right.
like
Yeah.
being
Uh-huh.
yourself is going to make you so happy. And I think like because I know folks who are like,
Mhm.
being gay is not great and men's social blah 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 and or like you like or being queer is not that great. And I'm like that's because you put so much value on
Mhm.
the idea of coming out. Like you thought you came out and like
You
life would
put a
just
lot of
open up.
you put a lot on that G, honey, in the BT.
Exactly, right? Like, but truly, like people, I think they put so much worth in the idea of saying like, if
Yeah.
like when I come out, things will get better. And it's like,
Uh-huh.
girl, if you're a shitty person, coming out won't make it less shitty.
Right.
Like
Right.
you have like you if you like you have to put the work in after that, right?
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
coming
Mhm.
out is coming out is just a process. Coming out isn't like the actual like coming out isn't the actual like the end point here or the end
Right.
goal.
Right.
You have to invest in yourself. So I would say the also advice I'd have is when you come out, figure out what you will do with the information then.
Yeah.
Figure out, okay, so now I'm out. Like, envision life, imagine life, dream life after you come out as well.
Mhm.
Don't just dream of the moment when you come out, dream of what happens afterwards.
Yeah.
Make plans to build community. Make plans to invest in your friendships. Make plans to invest in your familial friendships and
Mhm.
your platonic friendships and find romantic ones. Like, coming out to me was the best process I've done in my life
Mhm.
because I got to share my full self with people and I got to choose how I invest myself in anything around me
Yeah.
and how people invest in me.
Yeah.
And that is such a gift and privilege. And
Mhm.
I love being queer because I have chosen to decide what being queer means to me, right? Like
Mhm.
I don't say I'm gay, I say I'm queer because I choose for it to mean like radical change,
Mm. Mhm.
radical sense of self.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
radical difference of like monotony and radical opposition to like heteronormative ways, right? So
Mhm.
like I chose all that for myself. And
Mhm.
so anyone who wants to come out, don't believe that like that just doing that changes your life. You change your life after that, and every other moment, and every other decision you make after that.
Yeah.
That was
I,
a that was
no,
a long
you
conversation.
that was bitch. That was a testimony. You literally said, "Let me get on this mic and go to church real quick for these people who are listening." No, I love that you say that because I think what people don't seem to understand is that coming out, yes, it's a process, but you've got like you've got to be. I wish I would have given myself more space to. So I'll say this. I think a big piece of advice is knowing that coming out can be harder, especially when you don't have a strong community of people around you. And I think it
Mhm,
is so imperative, kind of to your point, Joho. I don't want to beat a dead horse. I think you've got to have a strong group of people around you who can so if you lose your mom, you lose your dad, you lose your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, your uncles, your aunties cuz I mean, yeah, my brother said, "Oh, I love you. I ain't tripping. No problem." My mom, she came around. But
mhm.
I lost everyone else in my family. And I mean, I have one cousin who listens to the show and who's also very still cool with me. But that was it. Like I lost everybody. And
Yeah.
I struggled for so long because, especially around the holidays, I didn't have anybody to go. And then plus my family are Jehovah's Witnesses. So I didn't have anybody around the holidays. It got bleak for me. So I had to build my family. And I wish somebody would have said, girl, build your core before you start coming out to people in your family. So when they turn off their phones to you, when they
Mm,
block your number, you're
mm,
good, right? I would also say, if you can, work with a therapist around not just how you plan to come out to others, but how you come out to yourself. That was
mm.
something that I had to understand
Oof,
maybe a year ago.
that's
Not
a
even
word, bitch.
like, bitch, I'm 40. And I'm like, I
That's
had
a
to
word.
learn that a year ago. Like, I had to come out to myself in my own journey. I had to say, oh, bitch,
Mm,
you're trans. In the sense of, no, you're not trans because you want to be a woman. You're trans in the sense of you want to live a non-binary trans experience. You're not hetero. You don't want to live up to the heteronorm. Okay, so now you got to do the work to understand what the fuck that is, and that shit is hard, right?
mm,
You've got to understand that you have to have relationships with people and yourself, because you're changing and people have to be open to you changing, and the possibility of knowing that the relationships and the people that you love, that you see as your family, or the people that you see as your people who get you, that shit may change too, because as you're changing and as you're becoming a different person, they're going to look at you and say, you're not the person that I met. And I they may even say, I don't like the person you're becoming. I'm growing into a whole different person. So I just think that that's the thing. Like, I think that's the
yeah.
end of the short of it for me, is that, go ahead, baby. It's
I
just,
love
yeah.
I love your point about, like, doing the pre-work. That's actually a really great point. Like, do the pre-work before you come out as well too. Like, don't just be like, "I'm out, bam," because
Yeah.
like, again, like, because 'cause you're in control of your life, so, like, don't shake up your life in that way either. Like, that's not gonna feel
She
great to you,
shaking
right?
trees. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
do
Uh-huh.
some pre-work of what this decision does.
Yeah.
I think it's a really great point too. Be prepared to lose something.
Mhm.
You will lose
Your
something.
job, your
You will
friends.
lose
Yeah.
something, and you will gain so much more.
And will, and
I
will.
believe in my with my full chest. I was prepared to lose my parents. I
Mm.
was prepared to lose people around me that I loved. At 15, 16, I was prepared to lose XYZ because I knew that I would rather lose that knowing that I'm my full self
Yeah.
than hide myself and attempt more self-harm.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
that was the truth of it all. If
Yeah.
I chose to not share myself, I know I would harm myself more
Right.
than I had
Right.
already did. And so I
Yeah.
said, I would rather face the possibility of losing people that I love
Mhm.
because if they love me, they will stay.
Mhm.
If they love me, they will work it out.
Even if it's
Right.
hard. Even if it's, and
Even
that's
the,
what I said. My
the
mom.
and especially if it's
Yes.
hard,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
especially if it's hard.
Yeah.
And so if they leave, then their framework of love is not a real framework of love.
And that's what I said.
And
You
that's not the love that I deserve in my life, not the love that I want to give to others. I
Mhm.
want to give a healthy love,
Yeah.
a steady love,
Yeah.
a powerful love, an
Yeah.
affirming love.
And if
And
people,
so, yeah.
out to your point, again, I know this, this episode's gonna be so long. If you feel like people are loving you, even after you come out, if you feel like people are loving you with what there's a word I want to say. It starts with the C. Ugh, can't say it. Blame COVID.
Contempt?
No, not contempt. They're loving you with parameters. Basically, that's the way.
Conditions,
Conditions.
conditions.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Merriam Webster. I am a college student. They're loving you with conditions. That's not love, baby. And I think that's the thing we really have to get. Even if you're loving yourself with conditions, right? I like me, but I'm gonna change who I am when I'm around my
Yeah,
friends, so that way I can feel more safe, baby. That's not it. If, and again, if there are people in
you
your
deserve
life
more.
who see you as extra, or see you as, oh, you suck all the energy out of the room, bitch, get some air. Because you deserve to be you the way you want to be you, no matter when or where of it. So I really think I was so intent. We were going to do something different for this episode, and this episode became something totally different than what we
Mhm.
initially wanted to. But I think it is so important for us to do an episode like this right now, because I think that there are so many people who may even be out of the closet, and are
Mhm.
figuring or feeling like they're
Mhm.
having to push themselves back into the closet because of the climate we're in. We have friends of the show who have trans kids that listen that are worried about their kids being out in the world. And I'm going to talk more about that and in our next segment, but I just definitely wanted to make sure that we made space on this show. We've had some really fun episodes in the last couple of months, but our last couple of weeks, but I definitely wanted to make time to really say, like, I feel like as much as we joke and we kiki and we haha, this episode is so timely right now because a lot of people are scared.
Mhm.
A lot of people
Mhm.
are scared about what my life will be like if I continue to live it this way in authenticity. And I want to tell you that, I think about this daily. If someone attacks me for being queer, if someone comes after me, comes to my home, comes in my home, takes me and my partner out, whatever the case may be. And I know that's a dark thing to think about, but it's a reality for me in a lot of ways. I can say at least those last minutes that I lived on earth, I left I left an example for someone else to be who they really wanted to be and to feel like they
Mhm.
could be who they wanted to be. And I pray that
Mhm.
never happens. But I think that for me is where my head is every minute of the day now. If
Mm.
I go out being my authentic self, then at least when I get to those pearly gates, if that's where I'm going, and I could be going to hell too, I'm okay with shit. It's a party wherever I go. But I'm thinking to myself, there's so many people who are scared right now, and I just really wanted folks to know, like, we gonna be all right. You know, we gonna be all
It's
right.
giving I was here. I
Very much.
was
Yes,
here.
even though that is one of my
Howdy.
least favorite Beyonce songs, but it
Really?
is.
Hmm.
I maybe it's because I overplayed it. I think I overplayed it.
Mm.
Yeah, but
You know what? Yeah, I feel that. Like I don't put it on my rotation, but it comes on. I have to listen, and then
I
I'll
can
bounce.
listen. Yeah, but
I
there are
was
often times where I
here.
skip it. Yeah,
Go on,
it's
girl.
my
Mhm.
ultimate song I absolutely cannot stand from Beyonce is Irreplaceable. That song irks the shit out of me. But that's neither here nor there. But I'm just saying, yes, it is very much giving I was here
Okay.
energy.
Well, this was a great show. I appreciate you so very much. This was so nice. I'm leaving, but thank you for saying that.
I'm gonna always love Beyonce though. Beyonce, we love you around these parts. I'm never gonna get invited to anything she does, and
You
I
showed
fucking
your
hate that
ass.
for me. Yes, yes. But anyway,
I'll send
now
you
that
pictures from inside the club. I'm like, oh hey girl, wish you were here.
don't you wish you were here now?
Wish
I was here. Don't you
you
wish you was here? Bitch. I hate
here.
that for me anyway. But now that we've got you ready to cut on I'm Coming Out by Diana Ross, or even turn on Renaissance, because that's probably what I will do. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back with our yes ma'ams and our no ma'ams for this week. Back in a second. All right, y'all. So, giving you all some, I'm going to give you all some insight into the basically how the meal is made. Let me give you some ingredients. We're initially going to do what's poppin', and we decided that this episode is getting up there, so we're gonna scrap the what's poppin' for this week, but we're still going to talk pop culture. So we've moved some things around, and so basically, what I wanted to do was something that we were going to talk about in the what's poppin'. I'm going to talk about in the yes ma'am because I think it needs to be yes ma'amed. I want to yes ma'am, is it Khalid or Khalid? I always say his name wrong.
Khalid.
Khalid, thank you. Khalid, I want to yes ma'am him because I talking about what we talked about in this episode, it would be stupid of me to not mention that. Yes, he came out. Really, he came out against his will. He was outed. And
Mhm.
I hate that for anybody. Anybody who's ever been outed, you know what it's like. You know what it feels like. I fucking hate people who out people. That's honestly, truly more than a Swifty. I hate people who out people. That literally is what gets under my skin. But that's neither here nor there. I wanted to send him some love because I know people are responding to his new music and his new, I wouldn't even say new, him being his authentic self in front of the camera and behind the mic a certain type of way. And it fucking sucks.
He does have a new sound though.
He does.
But you're saying people are responding in bad ways.
Yes. What I'm
Because
saying,
I'm saying the good ways. Okay, got it. Go ahead.
right. So we're getting a more authentic version of him behind the mic, in
Mm,
my opinion.
yeah. Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
people are saying things of like, he's being flamboyant, he's being this and he's being that. And I don't like, and it's like, bitch, fuck you. Like, one, but also two, like the other part of me, it's like, let artists be artists. Like, he has the right to be the artist he wants to be. And if you don't like it, then go find some other artists to listen to or some other artists to support. You don't have to support his music. But I personally just want to say shout out to him for being like, he literally could have said, yes, I'm gay, and I'm going to go ahead and do this thing where I don't even talk about it or I don't even address it. Because some artists do that. Some artists will literally tense up and go, I don't want the
Mm.
world to know this about me. Like, I mean, no shade to Queen Latifah. I don't if this ever gets in Queen Latifah's ear, I don't want her thinking that this is shade because it's not. What I'm saying is some queer people have a certain way that they feel about their queerness and how they talk about their queerness. We've never seen queerness in Dana Owens' work, right? So for Khaled to be like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and infuse my music in that. Bravo, girl. Do you enjoy your time? Because who knows how? I mean, we're looking at Nicki Minaj. We're looking at her, and her time is up. The time is up. So, like, enjoy the moment you have and be your authentic self in that time. And I just want to give him his flowers now and saying thank you for not doing doing the opposite, right? And it's not to say that it's wrong if he was to have done that. What I'm saying is it is a big feat to say, I am who I am. I'm going to make music to represent who I am. And I just wanted to say that. Do you have thoughts before I move on?
I absolutely do because it's y'all be
I
hating,
absolutely do. Yes.
y'all be hating, but it's so good. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because I have two new songs. One's in Plain Sight, which is very, very house,
Mm-hmm.
very black house, very a la Show Me Love, very a la Crystal Waters, like Bob, just
Mm-hmm.
like fun. And then then his new one, I don't know what it's called, but the new one,
It's very
um,
Britney Spearsy. Yeah.
please, right,
It's very
oh,
much giving. Yeah,
oh,
it's
it's
very
very,
much
very much that. Like, it's
giving
okay,
play
and
for
also
you.
y'all. So I will say yes. When I saw the choreo, I was like, "This is very like femme of him,"
Mm-hmm.
and and also like, okay, so first of all, if a K-pop girl was doing this dance, you would have nothing to say about it. Like y'all would say nothing if it
Yeah,
was
if
like
they was
Cat's
doing
Eye
those
doing
little
this.
dinosaur arms, if he would have
Exactly.
been doing those dinosaur arms, everybody and their mama would be standing
Like
him.
people are oppressed. People are oppressed about choreography, but like it's giving. It's giving Britney. It's giving like oh like and like if he wants to be an next pop icon, who are we to stop him? First of
Right.
all,
We need him in this moment. TBH.
second of all, I know like so many cis men once they allow themselves to like feel their femme selves, they will just be more femme, and I love
Right.
that. Like, wow, what a world! Like, I would actually see it as how sad that he had to hide what brought him joy
That part. That part.
to like fit the mold of
Yep.
something,
That part.
and that's what come back to define gravity. He said, "I'm through setting limits" because
Mm-hmm.
someone said they're so. So he said,
Right.
"I will give you a little 1-2. I will give you a little hip shimmy.
Yep.
Okay,
Sure
I
did.
will give you a little body
Uh-huh.
roll
Yep.
because I can." Thank you
Yep.
very much.
Yep, and sure did. And so I definitely just want to yes ma'am him. I want to yes ma'am anybody in the industry who feels the pressure to. And again, I'll be transparent and even saying in this moment, I'm nowhere near what Khaled is. I'm nowhere near what any of these other black queer artists are. I want to be very clear about that. But I too even feel the pressure of girl, you're just, the world is not right now is not the time for you, right? And it's easy for you to say, maybe I need to turn myself down so that way I can keep this money up. But I every day wake up going, fuck that. You know what I mean? Like if I go broke because I'm a little too queer or I'm a little too loud or I'm a little too fuck it is what it is. If I gotta go broke for just being myself, hey, it is what it is. And I think that's the thing I definitely like want to say. Like it really like it takes a lot. I was gonna say something else, but I changed my mind. It takes a lot to be us. And I really wish like folks got that. Like when you come
Mm.
out and you come out in a certain way and you're pushed out in a certain way to come out and say I'm going to celebrate that, it takes a lot of energy. And I just want to make sure that if this ever gets into Khaled's ear, he knows that I see him and that I'm supporting him. And same thing, the other baby who put that rap song out about him and his dad's relationship and now has another song coming out called Dad and I don't know the name of the baby, but there's a rapper that just came out. Joey, producer. we got to figure out the name of the baby who just came out with. They have a rap song. Where they're talking about their dad. Their dad, I think, is Ghostface. So Ghostface Killer is their dad, and they have a song that came out. But just
Wow.
even putting that out there, right? The idea of like my father doesn't love me.
Infinite Coals.
Infinite Coals. Yes, thank you. Thank you. They have two songs about that. But just again, like this shit is hard. This shit is hard, and people are putting their livelihood out there. So anyway, enough about that. I'm gonna say this real quick, and then we're gonna skedaddle on. Fuck you, Publix. Now I don't want. I know I don't have a dog in this fight because I don't live anywhere near a Publix. I don't know what's going. I don't know what Publix does. I know they're a grocery store, so who am I to say anything? But all that to be said, what I do know is that Publix and what they did this past week impacts Black authors. And so, in the long and the short of it, if you haven't heard, they initially this Black author event came to them and said, "Hey, can we use you as a sponsor?" They said yes, but it has to be exclusive. They said, "Fine, if you're going to spend all this money on us, cool, you can be exclusive. That's fine. I have no problem with that." 2, 3 days before all of the stuff was supposed to go out about this event, Publix rescinded that
Mhm,
and
mhm.
said, "Yo, actually, in the name of it, I actually want to name names, right? They were going to be the exclusive sponsor for the Black Book Bash in Jacksonville, Florida. So I want to name that. But days before the event, they pulled back and said, "Oh, the climate is too this, that, and the other, and we don't think we want to, we don't think we want to be involved." And I'm just thinking, like, it just it there's something in me that literally wants to rage out or crash out, as the kids are saying, whenever I hear people talk about this climate. And I'm going, none of us, like, I didn't create this climate. You have a whole sorry, I'm really trying not to go off. Like, it's so frustrating anyway. Yeah, I don't want to say anything that's going to get us in trouble, but I want to celebrate that the book festival went forward. But but I stop playing in our faces. That's where I'm gonna leave it because I can feel myself seething. I'm so over it. This week, y'all got me this week. I'm very over where we are as just as a place. And it's really hard for me to talk about this stuff without really wanting to like go off. But I don't want to end up I don't want to go viral and have Will looking at me like, "Girl."
So
I'm gonna
we're
leave it
not.
alone. I'm gonna leave it alone. But I just want to say, fuck you, Publix. I don't care if your chicken is good. You know what the fuck you're doing. I feel like this shit is intentional. I feel like this. Oh, come in here. We're gonna be exclusive, and then we're gonna pull the carpet from under you. I feel like they know what they were doing. They knew what they were doing.
Mm.
And I'm sick of it. I'm really, really sick of it. I'm really sick of us being the ones who are constantly having to feel it. Like that. That's all I'm gonna say. What about you? What are your yes ma'ams and your no ma'ams for this week?
Well, I'll just say, Jacksonville is doing nothing that surprises me for Jacksonville.
Right.
That's all I'll say.
Right.
Um,
Right.
yes, ma'am, Pam, for reading Rainbow to return.
Yes.
I'm sad to return reading Rainbow.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like a butterfly in the sky.
I
I'm very
love
excited for that, and I
Michael.
think that'll be amazing. So same. So like,
Mhm.
what a deserving person to teach us about literacy and reading books. So yay for that.
Mhm.
My no man Pam is a hard one. I think people may hate me for this, and that's fine. Not hate me, but I think they'll have different opinions. So
Mm.
last week, or I guess a week and a half ago from when this comes out, Asada Shakur, blessed memory, passed away.
Yeah.
Um, those who don't know, Asada Shakur was a Black Panther party member, Black Panther revolutionary, who was exiled, um, because let me be with my English here. She had fled America after being out of prison, incarcerated because being a Black woman in America, has fought a lot for like especially for Black women's rights and empowerment in the Black Panther field, in the Black Panther Party, and the Black Panther movement, and Black Power movement, and then sought refuge to Cuba, which is complicated in its own ways, and then America deemed her as exiled. and was not able to return to the country. But like activist, power person that has inspired so many people, and passed away last week, and a lot of people are honoring her memory. Some like I get the reason why people would have like questions. It's like, why would you? Why would you like?
Why would you wanna honor her? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
In the
Mhm.
same vein, Kamala Harris releases her book, and people are like really feeling for her. And then there are people in the middle who are like, you cannot honor Sasha Kaur and Kamala Harris in the same breath. And I just want to say, nuance exists.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
nuance exists.
Yes.
I get what people are saying of like if you really hold the values of a Sasha Kaur that may not it's not actually in line with the values of a Kamala Harris. And like that's a fair critique.
Mhm.
And also, like two things can be true at once. People can like feel the power and actions of Sasha Kaur and also feel defensive of Kamala Harris.
Right.
Like I'm I'm not saying I'm that person. Um, but like again, two things can be true at once, and I just like I
Mhm.
wish like we like give ourselves more chances to do that. Like it makes me sad that in a world in which, especially folks in this movement, we ask for no binaries, but then the second something happens that doesn't align with our values, we
Yeah,
then enforce a binary,
we
and
do.
that to me is immensely problematic. Like
Mhm.
if my articulation of liberation work is that people feel free to do and say or feel, well, not to do and say, but like feel free to feel however they want to feel.
Mhm.
And so if I believe that, then even if their feelings don't align with my feelings, that is also okay. And
Yeah.
I'm not here to tell them that they're wrong for how they're feeling.
Yeah.
Like because shutting people down is not how you'll build the movement. Let me tell you that right
Mhm.
now.
Mhm.
And so I just want to name like and some people
Can I
some
also say shutting people down is what got us here?
mm,
But go off. Keep going.
well like so I just I'm sure that, if there's a listener that's like I can't believe you said that, Jordan. Like, I feel like like because like my politics definitely align more one way than the other for sure. But I don't see the world as like you must pick this and not this.
Right.
Like,
Mhm.
why can't people have both?
Mhm.
Also, I'm not telling black women what they should or should not feel.
That part.
That's just not for me vibes to do
Why
that.
can't
So
we look at both of them as being two black women who were trying to fuck up a system that was never built for them, right? Like they've tried to
yeah.
impact systems that literally or fight back or push back. And I get it. I know that people are like, oh, she has blood on her hands and war crimes and all these. Okay, 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 okay. Yes, 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 yes. Like yes, we can talk about all of these things, but nobody in politics
But this is
is
also why I would never wanna work in that field, because like,
right,
I don't
right,
wanna make the impossible decisions,
right,
and I'm also never going to real talk, I'm never going to understand what the thought process is in those moments.
right.
Like, as much as I want something to happen, I know that, like, what I want is cannot happen in that system.
Well, I mean, but
Like, it
even
just
let's talk about our show here, right? There have been things, not just the stuff we're seeing right now, but there have been things way bigger that have happened. And we have wanted to come on the air and say, and it's not to say that we're silenced, but we understand the like for every reaction, there is a reaction. For every action, there's a reaction. And
mhm.
me and you have off the air had really nuanced, hard conversations about how we were going to talk about things and go, how are we going to discuss this thing without fucking up our back? This is honesty, right? This
Mm,
is us being
mhm.
upfront. And it's hard because even just in this moment, right? There were things I wanted to say in like as I was talking about my no ma'am that I'm thinking, okay, John, if someone was to cut this, that's what I'm having to do in real time as I'm reading the script. I'm thinking to myself, if someone cuts this and this goes viral, how is this going to look for the show? How is this going to look for everything that we've built around this show? So like you can like this is and it's done this way intentionally. It's done this way intentionally, right? It's
Yeah.
done as a way to keep us from saying the hard thing out loud because so much of it is rooted in capitalism. So much of it is
Like,
rooted in money. Go
it's
off.
harder
Mhm.
it's easy to say the hard thing out loud,
Yes.
personally, when you don't have the highest stake in it.
Right.
Like, and I wanna really think about that as well too, like, especially, like, in, in the work in, like, my, like, job,
Right.
like, we have a higher stake in the things that are happening, and we can't speak on it because our stake is too high.
Yep.
Because it will fuck up somebody. It will fuck up an entire field of folks of color. It will surely fuck up support of another group of people.
Yep.
And so,
Yep.
like, there's things that we, like, cannot do and say.
Yep.
And those who are, I'm like, you're yes, thank you for saying it. And also your stake, you don't have a stake. Like, if
Right.
shit goes south, nothing impacts you
Right.
at the end of the day. And so, like, so, I like, so, and so in that same vein, like, I cannot imagine being Kamala Harris, right? I don't want to. I don't want to do politics for that
Right.
reason.
Right.
I think I'd be killed. Like, I think I'd be killed. I actually think if I was in politics, I'd be killed. Cause like, cause I, cause like
I'm
I
not
know if I was in
laughing
politics,
at
I'd
that,
be
but like,
killed. Like,
yeah.
cause like for real, right? Like, I
Mhm.
know like I wouldn't do what she did, but like that's why I don't want to do it at all. And so I'm like, I don't want to begin to understand like and like I don't know, like what was it that I watched? I watched what was that show with what was the name? The new one that was fuck, it was with Sterling K. Brown, and it's like the end of the world, right? It's like the end of the
Oh yeah,
world.
the Hulu show. I know which one you're talking
Yes,
about.
right?
Yes.
Like there's that
Uh-huh.
moment where the president has a decision. Does he like blow up the world or like do this thing, right?
Right.
I never want to be
And
in
that
that mindset,
you
right?
got two buttons
And
looking at you. Yeah.
and each decision
Mhm.
will have a whole different outcome
Yep.
and a bunch of people telling you that you were wrong with that decision.
Yep. Yep.
That's
And
like,
and then let's just talk about it. People automatically are going to have bad takes and hot takes on Kamala Harris because she's a black woman.
well, well,
Well, have, but
no
still,
one wants
she's
no one wants to talk about that because then people are also like, was she even really black? And I'm like,
Mhm.
girl, like because people will also then say like, well, she's actually South Asian. She's both. Like she's literally both. Do not like don't discredit her blackness because it doesn't fit what your blackness should be.
Right.
Like that is
Right.
just
It's just it's very nuanced. But like I said, like to your point, right? People, well, why aren't you talking about this way? I'm going, a lot of the girls that you see that get behind a mic and talk very openly about the shit that we see in our world, they're on independent networks. They don't have anybody to answer to. And we do. And I think that's the reality of it. And it's just I understand, you got to play the game, you got to learn. I, yes, but also I have a car note. I just bought a condo. I got student loans. Every time I get
period.
on the mic, my mind is in this mind of say the hard shit, but say it the right way. And I think that's the thing I want people to understand, that this is a game. Like anytime you have your name connected to a network, a book deal, a TV show, or whatever, like you have to, like you can be, look, I can be Amanda Seals. No shade to Amanda Seals, but I've also heard people not booking her for things, right? You gotta know what, hey, hey, and again, I love Amanda. I love what she stands for. I love what she's rooted in, and that she's like, I'm going to stand 10 toes down and what's right for Black people. Yes, Amanda. Yes, girl. But also, the reality is that we got to know that when you take a stance on certain things, you got to know that there are other people looking at you going, I don't know, I don't know. I don't know. So I'm also gonna say this. This was also going to be part of my yes, ma'am, and then we have to speed on. I definitely did want to say one of my parts of the yes, ma'am before I tweaked it was going to say, like, I simply want to shout out anyone who isn't being quiet right now. I've said this online and I will say it here. I know that my bookings for my speaking engagements have dropped. My ads for being on panels have dropped. All those things are subsequently have gone out the window because I know that people are doing a witch hunt on DEI. But I want to make it queer and clear that silence can only protect you for so long. And so I say that to say what you need to say, but be intentional about how you say it. That is where my mind is. And so, like I've said, and everybody knows, for all 171 episodes, Everybody over here at BlackFatFemme knows who we are and what we stand for. Can I come out and say this, that, and the other? No. But I'm going to tell you right now that if you know me offline, you know where the fuck I am. You know what I stand for. You know what I'm about. And I'm going to just say it that way. But I also want to make sure that people who truly in their heart believe like, oh, I can't say anything because I don't want to rub anybody the wrong way. I don't want to fuck up my baby. The oppression is going to be at your door soon. And it is going to drag you out of that very comfortable bed that you sleep in every night because it's coming. So that's the law. I don't want to take away from You're No Man, but I definitely believe what you're talking about hits home because I think a lot of people are in this mind of like, well, I'm just not going to say anything at all. So that way I don't ruffle any feathers. And I'm like, bitch, no, you need to say something. Everybody should be saying something right now because that's how we got here. But also, intent versus impact. So
Period. Okay, let's wrap this bitch up. We said a whole lot of things now. Without saying it, without saying
God,
them
we've
at
been
all.
off almost 2 hours.
The whole point of us was to not be this long, and here we are being this long. I know Joey's like,
Joey's like, bitch, it is a Friday. Let me
would be
go.
done.
Yes,
we are
let's
still
wrap it up.
doing it.
Please send us your thoughts, your feedback, and email to blackfatfemmepod@gmail.com. You can also send your thoughts via social media. Bitch, just hit us on Instagram and Threads. Girl, where can they find you?
Oh, me, sorry. I was reading Joey's response. My bad, Joey. I'm gonna work after this. My bad, Joey. Where can I be found? Girl. You can find me at Joho Downs across all socials. My website is JordanDowns.com. And if not there, you will. If not there, girl, where will you find me? I cannot tell you. If you're not there, girl. Oh no, not there, you will find me. It's Libra season, so you'll find me living my best life, shaking ass, celebrating my birthday. My birthday's coming up
yes,
soon,
your birthday is coming up.
all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, your birthday is coming up. Yes. We got to get down there and shake a little ass for you. But I'll say all that to say yes. Excited for that. As for me and mine, you know where to find me, drjohnpaul.com. You can find me on Instagram and Threads, along with our show on Instagram and Threads, Dr. John Paul, or you can, find our show, Black Fat Femme Pod. Send us the thoughts. I know we said a lot in this episode. There was a lot we also didn't say in this episode, and y'all probably are trying to read between lines. So I know y'all got things to say. Buy my book. Tell your mama and your uncles and your aunties. Buy it for Christmas. It's still time to buy my book. For those of you who are still buying it and still tagging me, I love y'all. Thank you. I see you so much. You can also see me on ABC, Our America, Who I'm Meant to Be. Don't forget to head over to www.signalaward, not with an S, signalaward.com to vote for us, both for diversity, inclusion, and best LGBTQ podcast. We want to thank our super producer, Joey Pat, for literally dealing with us and rocking with us for almost 2 fucking hours. We were talking about just being gay for 2 hours. It's just, what a time. But thank you, Joey, for making this shit pop, and everyone over at iHeartMedia who let us keep showing up every week to talk our shit in this mic.
Period.
We want to shout out our wonderful editor, Chris Rogers, who has to edit this. My God, Chris. My God. I love you though, Chris. Let me tell you, you make magic every single week.
Every time.
We didn't even start our show by thanking Chris for all that they do. Oh, we forgot to say our daily prayer. Oh, my Lord. Well, Chris, take this as a message. We thank you, we love you, and we appreciate all that you do for not only the audio, but for the tubes of you. This has been another show. Stay black, fat, femme, and fabulous. And remember what, Joho?
We may not be the cup of tea, but girl, just like Minute Maid, we got that juice. Okay. Come on, take a sip,
yes, bitch. What flavor? What flavor though?
Ooh.
Do you drink Minute Maid? Okay, so
no, I do love their sweet. They have. Was it the Simply Light Lemonade?
Yeah.
Or they have the Zero Sugar Mango Passion.
Okay.
That's my shit.
Okay, yeah, you got money because those are expensive. I'm a simple fruit punch girly, but the fruit punch in the bottle don't taste the same as the one in the carton. But we'll get to that in another episode. Come on and take a sip of honey. I'll see you next week. I love us for real. Bye.
Bye.